I'm going to hold your hands when I say this, but every single time you hesitate or overthink, someone less talented than you is taking your spot. Life does not give a damn about potential. What's up, guys? And welcome back to Your Friend in the Head. As always, I'm super grateful for you to be joining me here. Now, if you love the podcast, if you want to hear more, make sure you hit subscribe so that you are first to know when a new episode drops. Today is going to be a juicy episode, but if you are new here, there are many juicy episodes that you need to catch up on and many to come on a 365-day, every single day, new episode drops. Let me brainwash you into believing yourself is all I'm going to say. Now, today on the podcast, I want to talk about something that I am deeply, deeply passionate about. And I think that over my years in the career of what I've done and what I've observed is that majority of the time, the most intellectual people are the ones that are not succeeding. And the fools, the brazen, the ones that are willing to go absolutely balls to the wall without any repercussions or fear are the ones that are making it happen. And the reason that I want to have this conversation is because in my line of work, I work with a lot of women who are quite literally holding themselves back from their potential. And it is you versus you in this world. And it is always going to be you that's going to be getting in the way of you to hitting that next level. What happens when people are working towards goals, whatever the goal is, whether it is a body recomposition, whether it is a business goal, whether it is a life goal, whether it is a career opportunity, whatever it is at the moment that you're dare to dreaming about, is that you start at this position of you get this glimmer, right? You get this little spark from within, this little sprinkling of this feeling of, I want to do something great. Like I want to be something great. I want to kind of do something outside of the box. We've all had it before. We're all going to get it. And if you haven't, then what the fuck are you doing? Because life is meant for these glimmers and leaning into it. And what happens is people become obsessed with the planning stage. I think that as humans, you see it over and over again, and it happens in such different ways with different people. But people, and hand on heart, me also, obsessed with the planning stage. Now, the planning stage looks like, getting ready to start working towards your fitness goal or getting ready with that business plan and dreaming up the ideas. And it is all of the things just before you get started. Now, the problem with majority of people is that they're obsessed with the planning stage. They're obsessed with the safe space. And that's what you need to recognize, and that's what you need to normalize, that the planning stage is quite simply just the safe place. And that's why you absolutely love it. We've all got the new calendar before. We have all scheduled it all out. We have all done the planning and the thinking. And then it comes to the action. And this is where people go really, really wrong. And what happens is some people will start, some people will get into it. It might take them a week, it might take them a month, it might take them years of ruminating, thinking about it, talking to other people about it, talking about with friends, talking about it with family. I've got this great idea. I really want to do it. And a lot of people won't even get started. And a lot of people will get started and then recognize it's fucking hard. And then they give up really, really quickly. Now, what I really want to normalize and what I really want to dig in today is that when we start overthinking things, when we start hesitating on doing things, it's quite literally the most toxic thing that you can do as a human. Because we are intrinsically wired to be thinking of in a protective mechanism. You have to remember, humans are designed, our brains are designed to keep us in a place of safety. And so what happens in the initial stages is that when we are doing something different than what we've done before, we start to get that fear. We start to get that bubbling feeling of that inner bitch going absolutely feral. We start to get that feeling of I can't do this, what you've tried before and you failed. You get all of the inner doubt. That inner bitch is going absolutely feral at that point. And so what happens is majority of people don't even fucking put themselves out there. They don't even start. They don't even go for it because they've convinced themselves out of it before they've even given it a fucking go. And one thing that I have learned over my years and years of spending a lot of time with successful people is for sure, I've absolutely spent some time with some incredibly, incredibly intelligent humans in my life. Never going to diminish that for a second. But I'm telling you, the ones that are really fucking successful aren't really that smart. They just have the courage. They have the irrational self-belief that it's going to work out. and they have such a clear vision of what they're working towards that there is no other option except for that coming true. And so what happens is instead of having the normal cues of like what we have, right? Of the fear, of the what if it doesn't work out, all of those bubbling feelings, they might have those feelings for sure, but they're so confident and so sure that it's going to work out that they just put themselves out there. They put themselves out there. They ask people the questions and the opportunities. They put themselves in the right rooms. They put themselves into the discomfort. They go for the fitness goals. They go for the wild big ass goals. And in their mind, it doesn't matter how many times they fail. It doesn't matter how many times it doesn't go right because their next opportunity is going to be the one that works out. And so, if you're the type of person who's really, really been struggling with, that inner bitch going absolutely feral, and you're hesitating and you're overthinking it, and it's just going around and round in your mind. People love having loops in the mind, just going round and round and round, but you're not taking action. This needs to be that hard wake up call, and this needs to be the hardest pill, but the most important pill to swallow that you're going to have is that life doesn't give a fuck if you're the smartest person or if you're the best person in the room or the one that's got the most looks or that has the most privilege. Life doesn't care about those things. It cares about the person who's willing to get into the arena and to fucking give it a go and to try and to try. And every single time they get knocked down, to pick themselves up again and give it another fucking go. And that's the key to it all. You just have to recognize and you have to have the millionaire mindset that the next opportunity is going to be the one that it works out, and remove the option that there is any option of failure and get yourself in the arena. And I think that I was talking about this on the live the other day, that what if you were playing your life like you were getting $1 million put in your bank account next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, $1 million is going to go into your account. No questions about it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to do anything. $1 million is going in your account. How would you live your life? What would you do? Would you go after things? Would you put yourself in different circumstances? Would you hold yourself in a different capacity? And truly think about that safety net, right? If you had a safety net where no matter what, it was going to work out and everything was going to be fine, how would you go about your days and what would you do? And that's what a rational belief looks like. That's what self-confidence feels like when you know that the result is inevitable, but it's just a time game and it's just a rep game. And when you start normalizing that the perceived failures and the moments that aren't perfect are getting you one step closer towards your goals becoming a reality, that's when you start actually playing the game of life and recognizing that life is a game. Just like a computer game, life is a game. There is different levels, but you just have to be in it and you have to keep on going. And so if you're in the position where you're really, really struggling to get to the next level at life, normalize that failures and perceived failures and falling down and not getting it right the first time are actually a sign of a really, really good thing. And the really, really good thing is that you're in the race, you're in the arena, and you're one opportunity from the next opportunity being your best opportunity. And I think about that as well in social media too, because I think that so many people are terrified of being on social media and posting on social media because of the fear of perceived failures, of people not liking their content, of not liking what they had to say, of being their most raw, real, authentic self. And they're so afraid of putting themselves out there because of what would people think. And, it's the classical overthinking and it's hesitating and it's ruminating it and not taking the action. Whereas if they had just started posting 5 years ago or a year ago, they could have already been well on the way for the next post to be the best post. And that's the beautiful thing about social media. And that's the beautiful thing about content creation, is that you are one opportunity away from someone connecting with it. And particularly if you're someone who's wanting to build a business or is trying to start a following for whatever reason that you're doing, you have to remember, there's going to be a shit fucking ton of people that aren't going to like you. This is like anything in life. There's going to be a lot of people that are not going to like you or what you have to say. But, if I'm not your jam in life, choose another condiment, because you will find the people that like your secret sauce, that like who you are as a person and that resonate with you. And you will find your tribe. And those are the people that you really want to be around. But you're never going to have that opportunity unless you actually put yourself out there. and you get into the place of discomfort. Same goes with if you're wanting to move up in your career and wanting to do big, extraordinary things and get into a different career potentially and a different avenue in life. Unless you start asking the questions and start connecting with other people, then you're always going to stay in the same place. And I think about my growth and what I've done over my years and my time on this planet, and the most I've ever grown is when I put myself into the high risk situations. And I think about when I moved to Sydney, when I had just closed my gym and just had this dream that I wanted to be working in Sydney and I wanted to be in fitness and in digital. And I had this dare to dream Disney moment, right? And I put myself into that environment and it was so foreign to me, so new. I'd never done any of the things that I was doing before. But because I was in such a space, which really taught me a lot about, they very much as a company encouraged us to just keep on pushing, to keep on doing different things. And the trust that this company had in me from the very, very get-go and the belief that they had in me from the very get-go meant that I started playing very differently. And that with content creation and things going viral, with thinking of outside of the box and doing things different before that had never been done in the health and fitness industry, with my campaigns, if you've been an OG follower, I used to do the most creative, crazy campaigns for the app that I was working for. And it was so out there and so different that people were moved in a different way, because all we were seeing is either bodybuilders just doing the traditional things or people not really getting the emotive side. And I brought emotion back into it. And it was the most rewarding thing in my whole entire career, because I discovered what it was like to be my most raw, authentic, real self, have that trust and to put it out there. And we definitely had flops. There was 100% products in there and things that just didn't go to plan. But with the good came the bad, and with the bad came a lot of good, because we would learn and would say, okay, that wasn't perfect. It didn't work out. It didn't cut through. Why didn't it cut through? And then you just get in the arena and try again. But there's no way in life that you're ever going to get to the next level if you keep on getting in the way of you, and if you keep on hesitating. You got to play big. You got to take the risk. You got to put yourself in the uncomfortable positions. You got to talk to the people that you would never do before. You got to connect with the people that you've never done before. But you sitting on the sidelines and watching fools, seriously, fools achieve the things that you want to, just because they just don't have the same amount of, I guess, they don't have the fear. They're just not acting with the same level of fear, or they have the deep, deep understanding that it is going to work out and that it's going to be their next is their best. And that level of confidence, that's how you really achieve extraordinary things. So on this absolutely glorious day, I want each and every single one of you guys to think about, what am I sitting on the sidelines for life at the moment? What am I sort of like dipping my toe in, but not going absolutely all in on? And I deep down have this little spark, this little like simmering inside of me that I want to do more. And it could be, going to the gym for the first time or trying a gym class. It could be, moving state and saying, fuck it, I want to live in a different place in the world. It could be breaking up with a shitty boyfriend and getting to freedom of a solo life and living this big abundant life as a single girl or guy. If there's guys listening to it, I think literally 98% female audience in this space, but a little one for the guys. And then if you are wanting to achieve and do different things for business in terms of educating, upskilling, you just have to do different to be different. But stop sitting on the sidelines of your life. But I got to say, I'm really, really big on taking what I'm saying on this podcast and taking immediate action. And immediate action doesn't mean that you have to transform your life overnight, guys, but it does mean that you listen to this podcast and you do one small thing that's going to get you towards your goals. It could be signing up for a course. It could be starting to plan something out, because we know that you love the planning stage, but taking the action to do something about your life and understand you get one go. You get one go at this beautiful thing called life. We have no idea how much time we have, right? And do you want to look back at the most glorious years of your life thinking, I'm so glad I just sat there watching other women and other people do exactly what I wanted to do in life? Or do you want to be that fucking bitch who goes, you know what? Fuck that. I am not watching another bimbo do what I want to do because I'm just being afraid. So on this absolutely glorious, glorious day, I want you to feel fucking terrified, but I want you to take a move and I want you to take action. Guys, it is a beautiful day to make things happen. It is an even greater day to be the woman that goes for her goals and says, fuck it, balls to the wall, feral, let's make it happen. Go out, be kind to other people, be even kind to yourself. Thank you for joining me. If you love the podcast, make sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye, guys.